Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line. For buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform, please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing the Panerai Luminor Submersible PAM 25. Originally launched in 1998, this was a long-running favorite, the beginning of the Luminor Submersible series, and a true ISO 6425 compliant dive watch. Now, the timepiece is in titanium with hobnail dial that sets it apart from the 24, which is steel with conventional dial. The sizing is 44 millimeters, and it is the Betterini case designed by Alessandro Betterini for the original flight of civilian-issue Panerai watches back in 1993. The case, however, is thicker because the Luminor Submersible is beefier, 15.8 millimeters thick, 44 millimeters in diameter, and then from lug tip to lug tip, 53 millimeters with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Though large, it is made of sapphire and titanium, so it sits fairly light, and big is the look. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, but I think you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, and it would look big, but like a Panerai, that is to say, intentionally oversized. It is, however, too thick to fit underneath the cuff. Taking a quick look at the strap. The strap is a nice accessory to have on the diver because you can use the waterborne capabilities without having to swap. So this is a Panerai factory strap. As you can see, vulcanized rubber made in Italy. It has hollows on the bottom to vent the wrist and allow a little bit better flexibility, as well as channels on the top to add definition, and a Hershey bar style Officine Panerai that's actually embossed into the rubber. Now, taking a quick look at the clasp, you can see this is a bit more involved than what you get on a standard Panerai watch, as we have here in stainless steel, notably, unlike the case, a double folding clasp with twin trigger release to give you a little bit more security against dropping this watch. And you can see the buckle is held to the strap using a screw and a bar, and that's the way Panerai watches tended to be built. This watch right here is a 2006 model year. You can see that's an I series. The little bar is held in place by a screw. You pull the screw out and then you remove the strap. It is a much more secure system than using a spring bar. And you can see the entirety of the case is matte finished, and I like that. It limits glare. It emphasizes the tool watch qualities that the timepiece has in abundance. We have the device protecting the crown. That's what this little crown guard structure is known as. Developed in the late 40s and implemented in the early 1950s on Panerai combat watches. The idea was to create something with more protection than a shouldered crown guard, and also an easier way to lock and unlock the crown than threading it in and out. Back then, Panerai watches were manually wound, so there was a lot of threading in and out with the old Rolex manufactured 3646 combat watches. So replacing that screw-down oyster-style crown with one that was simply compressed and then decompressed made it easier to operate the crown when your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved, but also harder to wear out the seals around the stem. So that's the idea there. You lock it, and you have 300 meters of water resistance. It is a very secure system, and it's iconic. You know exactly what this watch is just by looking at the crown. You already know who makes it and what model line it's a part of. That is the definition of iconic. Let's hear the bezel. It's very chunky, sharp, and positive. It is a 60-click bezel, so it's not quite as precise as 120-click. Then again, along with, I would say, Doxa, this is the chunkiest bezel experience you're going to get. If you like a sharp, loud bezel with a real mechanical ratchet feel, that's exactly what you're getting right here. Now, the early examples of this watch would have had original tritium dials as built, but by 2006, when this one was made, it was Luminova. So this is a factory dial. And as you can see, it is quite well loomed. Even the running seconds hand, which is part of the definition of a modern dive watch, that is loomed. The dial is all applique index with the exception of the transferred numerals at 12 and 6. And then you can see that there's that inverse hobnail characteristic of the PAM 25. You can also see that the magnifier, unlike Rolex, sits underneath the crystal, so there's no chance of that getting knocked off. Case back, screw down, individual numbering, 300 meters, What's inside the case? Well, it is the 7750 P1, which is a Valshoe 7750 with the chronograph components removed. What that means is you've got an automatic winder that has that same unidirectional winding action and wobble, 42-hour power reserve, 21 joules, 8 beats per second. It has both a quick set date and hacking seconds, and this 42-hour power reserve movement has been tested by the COSC and adjusted in 5 positions, so it is also a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. So a big, tough watch that is also surprisingly accurate and sensitive to precision timing. A chronometer and a diver and a Panerai Luminor all in one. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.